St. Patrick's Day, and for those who are celebrating Maenad, happy Maenad. All right. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. If you don't know who I am Tara with Kittens, Weights, and Tarot. You can learn a little bit more about me by clicking on the links down below, checking out my website, kittensweightsandtarot.com. You can check out all of my offerings, plus lots of other goodies, maybe signing up for the newsletter, which comes out on the first of every month, and all of that good stuff. Checking out maybe Witchy Shops, Desert Cauldron, James's Crystal Shop, Light of Riga over on Etsy. But yeah, lots of good stuff cooked up for us today. And I'm curious as to what you guys have going on today, Sunday, and maybe anything that you have maybe planned for this week, whether they are magical, spiritual, or mundane. All right, let's see. Who do we have here? Oh, hey, Lisa. How's it going, girl? John is here. Um, John's having a good day, says. Angela says, hello, hello, blessings. Lots of love to everyone today. Hope all is well and your luck is in your favor and the good things come your way. Amen. Yes. All right. Well, let's get down to nitty gritty. So, those who are new to the channel, if you don't know, usually every Thursday I post a poll on my YouTube channel page. So there's a public poll, but I also post that poll to my YouTube members, also to my Patreon peeps. So if you're a member of Patreon or a YouTube member, you technically get more votes, especially if you're really interested in seeing something that we do on Sunday, and you get to vote on the theme or something that you would like to see during our Sunday live chat. And it seemed pretty straightforward what you guys wanted today, and you wanted me to channel the quote unquote little people.
I have a question. Do
Yeah.
you want me to read their questions for you? For the leprechauns, you're just going to channel what they have to say.
Um, channel what they had to say. I'll try to remember a couple of questions, I guess.
I could do
But if you're around, then maybe that'd be great.
it.
So yeah, if when we get into the channeling, if James is around, he's really good at asking questions, but also reading your questions. So if you guys have questions for the leprechauns, for the little people, that would be fabulous. And actually, speaking of the little people, my great great grandmother, who was from Kerry, Ireland, um, she often, I guess, they say that she often spoke about the little people, and she would always leave out like little offerings for them, just little things for them to eat and drink, and just kind of make sure that all was in harmony with the physical world and their non-physical world. My great grandmother also believed in them as well as other nature spirits, and that's what I believe that they are. They're a part of kind of the nature realm. They may not be the way that they are portrayed in, Hallmark postcards, and kind of like I have on, you guys can't see, I have on like my little pin here. Like they're not really running around with like little green jackets hoarding gold and things like that. Um, but I do believe that they have that energy of a little bit mischievous, a little bit trickster, but not in a negative way. I kind of believe that they walk the balance between the light and the dark, which is why I think people are so fascinated with them. And then the, kind of pot of gold kind of being representative of the way that they just kind of attract and are abundant just as they are. Like they don't need to, I guess, like go get a job to go get the abundance. They just know that they are abundance. And that's the energy that we seek. Therefore, we kind of see them as having that pot of gold, having that abundance that we wish to have in our lives. And of course, there's like rainbows and other things that symbols that are connected to them, but maybe not in the way that we see them in American culture and things like that. But hey, all right. So let's see here. We have some other folks that have popped in. Moonchild me, hello. Mystique is here saying fairy blessings to everyone. Peg, hello, hello. Um, Moonchild Mia is like, hey Pegs, I made it. Russ says, hello, Taryn James and Mod Squad and family. What up? Angela says, where's Susie this morning? Susie comes to come to the live stream. We miss you. Oh, I'm sure maybe she's got some cooked up today. I mean, it is St. Paddy's Day. Angela says, I'm getting a fairy jar statue next month. Oh, wow. Um, Peg's like, look who the cat drug in, Russ. Russ is letting Liesel know that he's smoking a cigar. Nice. Mystique says, Angela, tomorrow's the anniversary of George's death, so she's in mourning. Understandable. Everybody saying hello. We'll definitely send some love Susie's way. And just as I'll light a candle for George and her and send her good vibes. And Peg is saying, I saw your vid, Liesel. That is so awesome. You could do that. Everybody's saying hello. Hey, Kayla's here using her very special emojis, which, by the way, you know who our YouTube members are because they have that little kitten head. There's like a little colored kitten head right next to their name, and they get the use of special emojis that you will find on no other cell phone plan or phone, only right here on the KWT tribe. So Mystique is keeping Susie in her thoughts as well. And just saying blessings to all coming in today. May you all be blessed with charm, blarney, and luck today. Amen. John says there's a lot of overlap between the Fae and the Jinn. I think it's the same thing. Yeah, I think it's pretty similar. Yeah. And just says for anyone who doesn't know, blarney means way with words and poetic charm. Yep. And Russ is wondering where he can find Liesel's video. Find it on Liesel has a couple of places that you can check out all her awesomeness, which is Liesel Cigar Box Guitar here on YouTube. But you can also find her on the grams. So if Liesel, if you would like, you can go ahead and post your information. Actually, Liesel, let me give you a little. There we go. Okay. Lisa, you may notice that there is something that just popped up next to your name. And Lisa has the little wrench of power right now. And that's, I want you to be able to post all of your information because I do want people to be able to find out all the wonderful things that you do. So, yay! Congratulations, you hold the wrench. Alrighty, so I have my tea here. I have my green tea here. Yeah, the Nordiski is strong with me. So yeah, okay. Getting in today. So yeah, we are going to be channeling the little people. Maybe tell a little story before then. Of course, we're going to be doing the weekly reading. We'll do that first, and then we'll dive into our channeling. Those of you that are interested in having maybe some personal questions answered, we will be doing super chats and super stickers. It's just like a little donation for a little card pull if you are interested. Of course, no pressure. If you are looking for bigger type readings, I do offer those on my website, kittensweightsandtarot.com, which, by the way, I'm having a spring fling sale, so 15% off everything that I make and do. And that goes for our Desert Cauldron shop as well. And I believe James is also having a sale in the shop. So you know what? Sales all around because why not? That's our form of abundance is sales. So you know, taking percentages off and helping out homies. But yeah, so okay. Afterwards, after our super chats and super stickers, we will go into our channeled guided meditation. It is channeled, meaning I don't really have a particular meditation in mind when I start the live chat. It just kind of comes to me towards the end, depending on kind of where the live chat goes and where, you know, maybe our needs, you know, the things that we maybe need for today or for the week. And then I just let my intuition just take over and it's like, all right, well, because me trying to think something up on the spot is like insert cricket sounds, you know. Okay, let's see. Lisa says she's been busy with that one, which she's been working on. Mystique said, oh, sweet Lisa, Mod Squad. She said, well deserved, Chica, you rock. Angela said, so I had two crazy things happen to me this week. I was reorganizing, found an angel necklace that I lost inside a birthday card. Really? That's interesting. And John says, I've been looking at some things in your shops. Oh, okay. Very cool. Lisa said, building giddies as usual. I have a balance of spiritual and mundane coming up this week. Hey, balance is excellent. Angela says, and then found an oracle deck that had been lost so long, I thought it was mixed up in the donation box. I hadn't really communicated, but once I found it, finally did give me some pretty deep messages. Nice. Oh, Peg is seeing the whatever dragon's breath that's coming out. It is a bit chilly. It's not too cold, really. You know, I just got a light sweater on, but yeah, it's enough for a little dragon's breath. um, Angela says, and I told them sorry, they ended up lost. Mystique says, my card is obsolete because my conservators are taking control of my benefits, so any purchases I want to make has to be approved by them. Ah, I see. And Edgar, oh, Edgar's here. Hey, dude, how are you doing? Oh, right. Well, as people are coming on in, I want to say thank you to everybody who hangs out with us here on Sundays and who supports the channel. You know, whether you guys are watching our channeling videos, which come out every Monday. And by the way, we do have a channeling coming out tomorrow, as tomorrow is Monday. So that's coming out at 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time, and we are diving into weather modification. So yes, we've done a channeling before where we looked at chemtrails, but for us, we feel that that's just a piece of the puzzle. We want to talk about we had all these questions of like, what is like, is our weather being modified? How is it being modified? What can we do about it? Like, what is our role in this? You know, so many questions. And yeah, I think you guys will be really interested in it. So definitely check it out. 6 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. That's 7, 8, 9. That's 9 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. So coming out tomorrow. And yeah, so thank you to my subscribers as well. Maybe someday we'll hit that 10,000 mark. I don't know. And for everybody who just, you know, comments, likes, maybe chats with us, you know, here on Sundays. Thank you. Thank you to my YouTube members, you know, Lisa and Kayla. Love you girls, and also my patrons. So Myrna and Karen, Liesel, Heather, Lily, Dana, Jamie, Surian, Kayla, Brandy, Jason, and Brian. Thank you all so much. All right, so let's have a little sip of tea here and let's get to this weekly reading. So I encourage you guys to, you know, drop in some messages as well for with these weekly readings. So if you're feeling some downloads, you know, connect to that intuition. Maybe you want to channel some messages for us. That would be beautiful. If you are one that loves to bust out your deck of cards and read that way, excellent. Let us know what decks you're working with. Maybe you're working with runes or pendulum, whatever it may be. But that's what the beauty is of this live chat, is that it's not just me blah 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 blah, because otherwise then it's just a video, it's not a chat. But everybody here has so many wonderful insights and different ways in which they utilize their intuition, different perspectives, and you know, I absolutely love it. So anybody who watches the replay, definitely check out the chat portion of this replay. Okay. Peg is letting Edgar know that she's doing great. And John said, heart much. Mystique says, everyone, please send Susie blessings and prayers. She needs love and compassion now more than ever. Peg sending love to Susie. And Angela says, Susie, if you see this later, we're thinking of you and send you love and lots of light and many hugs for you. Amen. And Lisa letting Susie know that, babes, you're in my prayers. Love you, Chica. Mwah. Yes, Susie, we love you very much. And yeah, we're always sending good juju your way. Okay. So let's go ahead and dive into it. Today, actually, I am borrowing one of James's decks, and that's the Universal Celtic Tarot. So I thought that would be fun. And I have, of course, as always, my Wally's World Oracle. So if you're interested in Wally's World, the link for that is down below. I have another deck, don't know if I'll use it today, but it's a new deck that I got, and it's the Parisian Seville. And it's, I would say, it's kind of a mix of like Lenormand and Kipper and the kind of gypsy cards kind of all wrapped together, and I really enjoy it. It's 52 cards, so it's like having an average like playing card deck, but of course they have like images and keywords and super cool. All right, so again, let us know if you're using a deck today, what deck you are using. And if you're just going to be bring down your good old fashioned intuition, let us know. All right, so let me get my cards out here. Do, 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 do. Mana, mana. Okay. And okay. All right. So my Wally's World, this is the back of my deck. I have some gilded edging. And oh, wow. The bottom card, Stonehenge. Speaking of druids and Celts and all of that. And then this is the Universal Celtic. It's got a beautiful green background. And it's got the three scale image and just all these beautiful greens. And that's something that, I kind of like about, Maenad and St. Patrick's Day. Maenad is more of a pagan, like Greek festival. Involving, just joy and abundance, really celebrating the coming of spring, as we get closer to Ostara. That's kind of what it is. But um, what I have always enjoyed was the greens. For me, green is connecting to the heart chakra. It's also connecting to nature, but also realizing nature is kind of like our heart chakra. And so, yes, we can add all these other little things into it, like, the pots of gold and rainbows. And, some people take this as an opportunity for imbibing, and, people celebrate however they celebrate. But for me, it's coming back to the greens, coming back to the heart chakra, realizing that there are, energies all around us, seen and unseen, and they're all just aspects of ourselves. So, when we are connecting to the little people, we are connecting to, the nature spirit portions that are us, the ones that have a different perspective. It's our different perspective, seeing it from 4D, whereas our human vessel, it's sometimes hard to see anything beyond 3D. And so, that's kind of what I keep in mind when we get close to things like St. Paddy's Day. And of course, we know that there's religious undertones to that as well, with Catholicism and St. Patrick driving out the snakes. And yes, we realize that it would be kind of contradictory for maybe pagans to celebrate that, as it was a driving out of the pagans. But that's not quite how I celebrate it. Alrighty here. So let's look at what you guys had here. Doo-doo-doo. And she says, I have the Astro Matrix Tarot and my new Gaia statue. She's blue-green color, looks like seawater. And says, whoa, I had two jumpers as soon as I opened the box. Oh. Peg says, I saw James talking about crystals and the energy from the crystals. And the energy of the crystals really messed with the video. It was an amazing show. We love to hear about graphite sometime. All right. Cool, cool. Yeah, if you go to my YouTube channel page, I have a link to a podcast that James did with Star Lourdes Tarot. Yeah, Star Lourdes Tarot. And it was, I think it was a wonderful chat. I thought he looked like the crystal dealer of the mountain, because he had his table, all of his wonderful crystals, and she had so many wonderful questions. And I think that they had a great back and forth. He really got to kind of express how he utilizes crystals, kind of what he thinks about crystal consciousness and things like that. So if you missed it, definitely go check it out. And if you have more questions for him, you can always post it in the comments of the video. You can send him a direct DM over on Instagram at Light of Riga for all of your crystally questions, or any sort of spiritual questions. He has a lot of good insight. So yay, I'm glad some of you guys got to go check that out.
Oh, and they left good comments too, the people who did. I appreciate it.
Oh, all right. So yeah, I mean, he loves a good conversation. So trust me, like comments are a wonderful thing. He loves to engage and connect with you guys. Mystique says, I don't know if I'll contribute. I haven't felt connected myself in a while. All right, no worries. And Liesel, yes, we know you love your Stonehenge. Angela said, no pressure, Mystique. Wishing you a positive reconnection with your true self. Yeah, of course. Edgar says, I was getting the image of a spiral seashell, like one of those petrified ones. Well, interesting you say that petrified, because James and I are going to be going to the petrified forest later this week for our anniversary. Angela says, I got the Page of Pentacles reversed and the Knight of Pentacles reversed. Ah. Russ was asking Lisa if she's seen the large mando guitars yet. They sound like a mandolin, but are tuned and played like a guitar. They come in 6-string and 12-string. Can't wait to buy them for myself and sons. Nice. Okay, so Angela's message that she got from her card says to keep your eyes open for what seems too good to be true. Pyrite looks like gold and is true. Slow down and consider a deal before you take it. Once you're in a contract of any kind, it can be hard to break it. Read the fine print and go slow. All that glitters is not gold. Make decisions really carefully, and you'll find abundance and peace eventually. Amen. I always love your poetic messages. Lisa says, I've worked with St. Patrick a lot, not at all in the traditional liturgical way. Awesome. Angela says, decided to see what Gaia had to tell us about these cards. Lisa says, James, your interview rocked.
Oh, thank you.
I like the rocked. Wink, wink. Uh-huh. Mystique says, because of my financial situation and my card refusing to work online, I had to contact Nick from Placebo and tell him to give the ticket he was going to give me to someone else. I guess I'm leaving my promise unfulfilled in this life. Well, I think that our lives take a lot of different twists and turns, and that's part of the adventure. We never know where we're going to go next. Edgar says, tell me if you find large petrified shells and stuff. Will do, will do. Liesel has not seen a mando guitar yet. Love the sound of those. Angela says, people fake, stones fake, hope anything can be falsified if someone tries hard enough, so don't judge anything by its cover. And Russ says, I'm buying all my crystals from James. I know they're authentic then. Nice. All right. Well, thank you, thank you. Okay, let's go ahead and grab Wally's World first. And I like to just kind of pull one card from this deck to see maybe what the overall energy could be of the week or any messages that he has. And when I'm tapping into the energy, it's the messages from the collective consciousness. So that encompasses everything on this planet. And just seeing, is there something that we need to work on, that we need to keep in mind, something we need to heal this week? And so that's the point of kind of looking, having like an overview of the energy of the week. And then we'll pull a few cards from the Universal Celtic afterwards. So let's see what we have here. Well, I'm pulling the card. Thank you to everybody who's gotten readings as of late. I really do appreciate reading for people. It's such a joy being able to help empower people, and just tapping into all of those unique and different higher selves that you guys have. I think it's wonderful. And I feel like I learn a lot in the readings that I do. You know, it's a two-way street. It's not just messages coming forward for that person, but I also take into account those messages and they help me too.
Should I turn that light on?
Oh, okay.
It's really dark.
Better.
Okay.
Okay. I was in the shadows. Alrighty. Um do do do. Angela says, and be safe, not all opportunities. If it's too good to be true, don't take it. Keep your promises. Make sure not to break it. Um, Moonchild Me says, oh, that my voice sounds like sunshine on a beautiful spring day. Well, thank you. Oh. I've always sometimes been a little self-conscious of my voice, but thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Peg says, I'll need a crystal budget, Russ. I have a list. Angela says, I learn a lot here too. I adore you and all your sweet souls and good vibes. And all you earth angels. And Moonchild Me is saying, and happy St. Patrick's Day to all, by the way. Okay. Oh, and I love that the card that we have pulled is full of greens, full of nature, full of heart. So here we go. This picture is actually taken in Italy by my good friend Steph out in Belgium. So she was visiting her aunt out there, but for her it was just a very peaceful place where she felt really connected to, you know, her higher self, connected to the earth itself. And we have little Wally photoshopped in here, perhaps chasing butterflies. So let's go ahead and tap into this and see what message we have. By the way, this is card number 8, which I always see that as the number of infinity, but the collective consciousness as well. So let's tap in. Okay, so Wally's talking about being really observant this week, that sometimes it's easily for us to fall in headfirst to any one or multiple types of emotions. You know, let's say that we had the emotion of, let's say, anxiety come up for us this week for whatever reason. And instead of falling fully into that emotion and it being all consuming, where all we can look at and all we can see is the emotion and not really taking into account like where the emotion might actually be stemming from. Yes, I mean, with our eyes we may say, well, it's connected to my current situation, and that's just a layer. But we need to go a little bit further back. What did that situation trigger to bring up this emotion? Because the emotion, you know, is obviously trying to tell us something. So it's just being observant of our emotions this week, even the emotions that we consider positive, that they're all just I would say our energy trying to speak to us using our physical sense. Because sometimes, you know, if we're so busy and consumed with what's going on in 3D, we may not take the time to, you know, take a little check in and see what's going on. And that's when these emotions come to the surface. Maybe we have an emotion of joy, maybe we have an emotion of stress, you know, whatever it may be, but more take an objective look at it, just taking a step back and just kind of witnessing them, kind of like as they float down this river here, just taking a look. Okay, I'm feeling a little bit anxious right now. I wonder why that is, you know, and if I don't have time right now to really dive into it, I'm going to make sure that I dive into it later. And maybe you want to, you know, maybe take notes, write it down in a journal, you know, that I'm feeling this at this time. You know, what was going on at the time that you were having that emotion? What time of day were you having that emotion? Was there, maybe it's the what day of the week, what other things were going on in your life at that time. Is this the anniversary of anything? You know, and just kind of writing that down and taking into account when you go into meditation later or any sort of self reflection and check in that you do later. And so, just Wally, just asking people to be more witnessing, be more of a witness of any and all things that you feel this week. It's going to give you some pretty good insight into some things later on so that things just don't snowball. Sometimes we may say, oh, I was a little anxious, but now I'm not anxious. So I forget all about it and I do nothing about the anxiety that I was feeling. So then the body's like, oh, maybe she didn't hear me. So let's crank up that emotion again. Maybe next time she'll hear me. And of course, we don't want that. We don't want things to snowball and feel intensified to the point that they feel overwhelming and that I'm drowning instead of just witnessing. So again, just be observant this week. No matter how you're feeling, I'm not just talking about, the emotions of anxiety or sadness, but joy, elation. Why am I feeling that way? What was surrounding that? So, okay, thank you, Wally. And let's go ahead and pull some of these Celtic tarot cards, Universal Celtic. Let's see what you guys have. Aw, thank you, Angela. And Mystique says, Steph from Belgium, right off the bat, a placebo connection because Brian was born in Brussels and his bandmate is Stefan Olsta. Windchild Amin says, it does angels. Hearing it, one can't help but smile. Aw. And she says, Mystique says, maybe I'm not meant to keep my promise by trying to meet Brian at Cruel World, but maybe I'll be able to fulfill my promise someday in this life. Yeah. And it says, stay outside the situation and wait. Don't let yourself get dragged in and pulled in under the guise of wanting advice. Sometimes people want advice, but they will say, oh, so-and-so told me this and that can get you embroiled in things that aren't even your fault. Sometimes the silver-tongued people are using it the wrong way. Best not to give your energy. It's best to wait it out and walk away. Amen. Yes, definitely. There's a lot of information that we're inundated with on a daily basis, and we basically use our own discernment to see what actually connects with us. And the only way that we do that is to go inwards and listen to our inner voice. There are some people that can be very persuasive and maybe they really do have some high vibe, great messages, but we always have to go inwards. What does this mean for me? How does this feel for me? Is this connecting to my life in any way? And and it doesn't matter how maybe high vibe the message is that's external, we always have to run it through our filter no matter what it is. And especially here, in this format, we all have our beautiful wonderful messages, and Wally here had his wonderful messages, but we always ask you guys to run it through your filter. How does it connect to your life? Or maybe it doesn't connect, but run it through your own internal guidance system. All right. Oh, I forgot the little coaster that my tea was sitting on. You guys like that? All right. Okay, so let's shuffle up these cards here. Beautiful art, by the way. You can always count on James for some very nature-based, awesome art decks. Very colorful. Okay, let's see. I'm feeling like 3 cards here. Okay. All right, let's see what we have. We have the 8 of Pentacles. Oh, look at this guy. What a cutie patootie. And all the little fae surrounding him. He's got the tree scale symbols all around. Looks like the earth itself lighting up. And then we have the 9 of Swords. This lovely lady has fallen asleep in the forest. You can almost imagine her falling asleep right behind me, actually. And then we have the Lovers. Oh, I love her dagger. Us and pointy things. Okay, so let's put all of these together. That's what the intuition's got to say about it with these lovely, lovely images. So as Wally was saying before about being observant, about how we're feeling this week and making sure that we do take the time later on to go inwards and see where some of those feelings were coming from. Doesn't matter if they were positive, negative, whatever. It's always good to do a little check in, but also to be cognizant of when the ego wants to take over or override what deep down inside our heart, our higher self is trying to tell us. So let's say you have certain things you feel like you need to do this week. It's on your to-do list. But you're feeling pretty fatigued today, like, "Ugh, I got to do this today, but I'm just so tired." And your body is trying to tell you, hey, you're tired, it, slow down. Maybe today's not the day to get, all the things that you think you need to get done or completed. But the ego says, nope, nope. I said that I was going to do this. I said that I was going to, do 8 different things today. I must do them. I have to do them because I said I was. Or maybe I told somebody I was going to meet up with them, and I don't want to break my promise of seeing that person. But if you think about it, if you're tired and you're fatigued and you promise to meet up with somebody, you're giving that person, we have an exchange of energy when we physically meet up with people sometimes, and you're now giving that person some of your tiredness and your fatigue, and the connection that you guys could have had during that meeting might be lessened to some degree because you may not hear all the things that maybe your friend or whoever it is was trying to tell you. Some of the things that maybe you could have tapped into on a more like energetic, more well rested day, those messages may not be there so that you could pass on to that person. Not that I would say any sort of thing that happens in our life is a waste. Of course, it's always something that we could learn from. But why not take the advice now and listen to the body now, listen to the energy, the heart, the intuition. If it's trying to tell you now is not the time, you are tired, you need to rest. The more that we ignore our heart and our intuition, the louder it's going to become. And it's going to find different ways in our 3D world to get our attention. So, i.e., I don't know, maybe I stub my toe and, and because it's like, hey, lady, are you listening? We're trying to tell you you need a break. Or maybe it's trying to tell you, you've had a break for a really long time. Now it's time to pick up the pace. Now it's time to start taking action. You've had all this hermitage time to come up with ideas and things that you're working on. Now's the time to implement. And if I'm feeling hesitant about implementing things, perhaps that's the emotion that I need to witness and then later on go inwards. Why am I feeling hesitant about taking action on something that I've been brainstorming for a really long time? And so in that is always a win-win. And sometimes we feel like the world would cease to spin if we didn't do everything on our to-do list. But you know outside of this realm, uh, there is no time. It's all at once, it's infinite. And if we're creating our own realities, then we can create time later on. We really can. So all right, let's see what messages you guys had here. Let's see. Okay. So Angela says, asked my Gaia statue her opinion. Stillness and calmness will benefit us these days when the whole world is going to goodness knows and chaos is ruling the day. People don't know what to do with it and try to pick a fight, try to get rid of the energy and other people's peace, and that is not all right. Tap my heart in Earth's core and be calm. It will be okay. Don't get off center or dragged in. It's okay to tell someone to go away. Amen. And Mystique was letting Angela know that after she got her goddess Bridget blanket, I asked Nurse Gail which goddess picture I should create a blanket of next, and she chose Gaia. Hey! And she says, Angela says, yay, Mother Earth, love Mystique. I love Mama Gaia. She is amazing. And Mystique says, I find it interesting that the first one was goddess of fire, and the other is goddess of earth. I don't think I have any pictures of any water or air goddesses. Well, maybe those elements will come into your sphere later on, but perhaps some grounding and some action or fire and earth are the energies that you need at this time, perhaps, or tap into. Um, Russ is letting Angela know that he's thanking her for her messages, her guidance. So true. We must remember to defend yourself. To defend yourself is to argue, to protect yourself is to walk away. Angela says, OMG, I so agree with that, Russ, and so glad they help. All right, many wonderful messages. Thank you guys for sharing. Okay, so let me make a little space here, have a little tea, and we'll get into our channeling of the little people. So, like I said, I've had family members, my grandmother, great grandmother, great great grandmother, all working with the little people, the wee folk, and just kind of seeing them as sometimes mischievous. And, maybe perhaps that's because they had a bit of mischievousness in them. And so they kind of recognize that in other beings, as those beings are, fragments of ourselves. And they really saw them, I think, kind of like I see them more as like nature energies, little nature spirits. They used to leave out some things. Sometimes they would say, oh, we want to make peace with the little people. So sometimes they'd leave out a little thing of milk, or if there were clovers, growing in the yard, sometimes in the grass and things like that. I never found a 4-leaf clover, but it didn't matter. Sometimes my grandma was like, a clover's a clover. They're green, and for her, they were all lucky. And so she would say, sometimes we can make like little bouquets with the little clovers, and she says maybe you can leave that out, and maybe they would be appreciative that it's um, being made especially for them. But it was just, for me, fond memories of creating things with my grandmother, and her telling me of things that I didn't really hear anywhere else. All I heard was like maybe things that my parents would tell me, which is just basically brush your teeth, clean your room, and of course the things we learn in school. But I didn't really hear of any sort of 4D world. It was harder for me to hear about the magical world that's all around us, instead of just the what I can see with my five, or yeah, take in with my five senses. It was that there was something beyond, and that we could tap into that at any time. So for me, I'm appreciative of both of my grandmothers, actually, for helping me to, I would say, trust my intuition and figure out what an intuition was. And the gateway through that was through the little people on, through my grandmother. So I appreciate that. I know that she's around as I speak of her at this moment. And usually that's how it is. Whenever we are thinking of someone or anything, our thoughts are energy, and it's like the calling cards, like you rang, you called, and they're there automatically. Okay, so let's see here. Hmm. John says, yeah, I've been detached from my expressive and knowing self, got a sketchbook to start creating. That's wonderful. Very cool. Mystique says, Brian and Stefan both are fire signs. Brian is Sagittarius and Stefan is an Aries. All right. Angela said, yay, the fairies. I love fairies. I'm wanting to work with them. Shy to make that connection. I was worried I ticked them off offering flowers from the garden. Well, just go inwards, connect, and realize that all of these beings, whether we are, fearful or not of them, that they are all just aspects of us. And so if there is an aspect that we fear, we have to ask ourselves why, and where is that stemming from? Is there something that might be part of our programming? Perhaps it's a past trauma that might prevent us from connecting to that aspect and helping us to learn what we need to in that moment. And also know that when we do that, they're learning too. So maybe they might be hesitant to work with you because of their own traumas, but we can show each other, the way, which is openness to healing, that is. Um, Angela left them quartz. Well, I have found that the land around here really appreciates quartz. John says, I found over 500 four-leaf clovers. What? Do you live in like four-leaf clover land? That's pretty cool. And just says, I rarely see those, John. You got some luck for sure. Okay. Oh, hey, Maria. Hey, how are you? Just a quick question. What is your favorite black tourmaline or amethyst? Hmm. Okay. The I know that there's some tourmaline that you can get from different places, but in terms of like there was a black tourmaline that we came across, which we ended up offering in our shop, and it's the Brazilian black tourmaline. I just love that it has. I always thought it looked a particular way. Like every time I looked for black tourmaline, it was always kind of the kind of fragmented kind of tourmaline. It's very fragile. Pieces of it fleck off. But this like Brazilian black tourmaline, it's very smooth. It still looks like tourmaline, but it's got like specks of like gold in it, and it's interesting. It also has a little bit of quartz too, but it's terminated on the end, which is and it's natural, and it looks like somebody created it that way, but it's a natural crystal that way. It's just
The word
so
is gemmy.
gemmy. It's very gemmy. So yeah, I love that black tourmaline. As far as amethyst goes, I would say it's a tie between Veracruz amethyst and the amethyst from Uruguay, which is really deep, deep purple amethyst. And for me, it's not just their beautiful colors, because yes, they are pretty, but the Uruguay amethyst for me helped me when I was struggling to meditate back in the days when I was like trying to learn to meditate on my own without guided meditations. And I just felt that it helped to still me, like still my energy, so that I could maintain, I don't know, stillness for a little while longer. Of course, I can do that on my own now, but I do appreciate the crystal's help in that. Um, for Veracruz amethyst, um, I just I don't know. I can't help but feel like happy around it. I don't know really what it is, and maybe it's just the particular Veracruz amethyst that I have. It's the little pendant that I have that actually James wire wrapped for me. But I just feel happy. Like my aura, my energy just is feeling joyful, and whatever I look at in my day, I just tend to look at it as more abundant and grateful. Things that it's helping me to do on my own. And so yeah, I would say those are my faves. Let's see. um, John says it's 1 in 15,000 is a four-leaf clover, and you have found 500. Like, whoa. Angela says, wishing you luck on your drawings, John. Don't think too hard, let it flow. That is a beautiful idea. Maybe that's why I felt so drawn to get the fairy jar. John saying, thank you. And Mystique says, OMG, I felt called to use Precious Gems Oracle about this situation, and I got red coral with fruitfulness, zebra jasper with engagement, and emerald with successful love. My promise will be fulfilled. Everybody's saying, yay. John says, closer to the Irish district in my city. I found them all over though. And Mystique got tiger's eye with stability at the bottom of the deck. Very cool. Maria said, good, nice. Angela says, decided to ask my Gaia statue for advice for you, Mystique. She says to work on yourself and your own life in the time you have to wait for something. You are readying yourself for what you want, and most consider the time where you are now. TLC time for your soul, even though it may be hard now to get settled and focused on self-love, self-care, self-improvement, and empowerment, and what you want will be magnetized towards you. And Mystique said, thank you. Doing her best. And John says, I do feel grateful with the little Veracruz. Russ says, I need selenite for concentration, meditation is something I have so much trouble with. And Angela says, "You've got this. I believe in you." All righty. Well, I think it's time to get to our channeling. So start thinking about what questions you guys may have for the wee folk, the little people, the little nature spirits known as leprechauns. So, yeah, go inwards, start asking your intuition, or maybe just, off the top of your head, what are some things that you would like to ask them? What are some things you want to know? Perhaps something that as it pertains to the world at large, maybe something about your own life, or maybe how you can make these connections yourself. Something about maybe going inwards. Maybe they could help you with meditation, some tips and tricks. You never know. So get those questions ready. James is. Um, can you guys hear James through the microphone? Whenever he's been speaking today, just need to. He's going to be helping out with the channeling. So
Kinda. No.
okay,
Kinda and no.
okay. Need the other microphone? Okay, I'm gonna give James the other mic. Okay, so he has his phone out so that he can read your questions, and then he can just relay it to the energy that's coming through. Because I am gonna be out skis. Alrighty.
Okay. How about now? Can you hear me now?
Yes. Can you hear me now?
All right.
Okay. Okay.
All right.
Yes.
They can hear me.
All right.
Very
They
good.
hear
Hello,
you
everyone.
loud and clear. Alrighty. So I'm gonna do what I do: ground, connect, and do my best to connect to their energies. And so whatever questions you have, he'll read them off, and we'll do that. So here we go. Okay, so instead of one being, it's several little green orbs. And they'll just speak as one.
Oh. Okay. What dimensional frequency are they in?
5.
Oh. So they're not 4D nature spirits.
They were saying just because they're green doesn't necessarily mean they're nature spirits, but yes, they are connected to Earth, but in 5D.
Okay. So they're outside the cube.
Yes, they're saying they are from where Earth's soul is from.
Okay. So they're connected to Earth through her past before she was in the cube.
Yes.
And what is their purpose with Earth at this time?
To be the outside influence, just as there are energies that are aiding humanity in waking up getting you to see a different perspective, that there is more than your universe, there's more than your box, helping you to do it on your own. We are helping her in much the same way. Help her to wake up, remember, help her to remember. We can't make her do it, but we are merely an influence.
Okay, so you're here to help Gaia more than the plants, animals, and humans, or is it all equal?
We know that anything that is Gaia energy, which is everything in Gaia, is Gaia. Therefore, yes, we'd be helping all.
Okay. People want to know how they can connect to you. So since you're fifth dimensional, I assume it'd have to be through meditation.
Yes, but sometimes when you're in the frequency of meditation without physically being seated with your eyes closed, sometimes people connect to us, if only fleeting. But it's just perhaps take it as a reminder that there is more. What you saw wasn't a figment of your imagination, it was something that this little box couldn't comprehend.
Do you have power to influence 3D in any way?
Not without permission.
So if we grant you permission, then you can have an effect on our 3D lives?
The permission would have to come from your soul, not your vessel.
Can our 3D egos direct our souls to give you permission?
Only if they're in alignment.
If our souls did give you permission to affect our 3D lives, what kind of impact would you have?
Only the impact that you could impact yourself. So it would not be us being a separate entity creating something for you, but merely showing you ways in which you can create it for yourself. If you would like to give us credit for that, that is fine, but we'd rather you guys give the credit to yourselves.
So really, you're just an extension of ourselves. You're part of Gaia in 5D, basically.
Yes,
What is with our traditions and lores? Why are you associated with pots of gold and being small and being nature spirits?
if you think of these stories of your Anunnaki, yes, they are interested in gold. There is not really a battle, but a differing of opinion about the energy of gold. And the Anunnaki, being of a negative polarity, wanted to utilize the energy of gold in order to find who they truly are, something outside of themselves they are using. That is much of the energy of the negative polarity, that they look for things outside themselves in order to understand themselves, in order to find their power. Our energy is of a positive polarity. We look at the energy of gold and we don't wish to possess it, but to see it as an extension of ourselves. And how can we find that frequency within ourselves to empower ourselves? And this is why we connect to Gaia, to help remind her of her own power. Of course, within the box that all reside in, there is a twisting of the truth for the 3D self to view. That twisting of truth would have you see us as if we were the Anunnaki, that we covet gold, that we somehow want to possess it, something outside of ourselves. It's trickery, but this is why we want to help empower, so that you can see beyond the trickery, beyond the inversions in your stories and your lore. The reason that things are so believable is because there's always a hint of truth. But it's within that truth that you need to go in and look at what else is true and not just what is being presented to you. So we have no animosity about how we are presented because we know that it could trigger learning in some way. If you feel connected to the leprechaun, then why? Have you been looking for pots of gold outside of yourself? And perhaps in that journey, you realize that the gold was always within you. And because many humans realize this, this is why many negative polarity beings want to control the human race so much, because many humans possess something that they find hard to do themselves, and that's to find their own inner power.
Okay, is the current rising price in gold indicative of people being in fear and looking for something outside of themselves?
Yes,
They're in fear of change?
they know change is inevitable. So, knowing that gold on this planet is valuable, they are putting all of their energy and all of their resource into this gold, where at some point there will be a realization that if you've surrounded yourself with all the gold in the world, I still don't feel safe. I still don't feel powerful. Perhaps the obtaining gold was not the answer. Perhaps it was what it represented. And that representation was that I wanted to feel safe. I wanted to feel empowered. And perhaps maybe I was empowered all along, that I held the power and I didn't need all of this gold. So the act was not a waste because there was a lesson in it. And many are realizing that.
So currently on this planet, gold is a representation of our power, but people have externalized it.
Yes, because if you think of negative and positive polarity, that negative and positive polarity are within you. You could say the Anunnaki is within you just as much as a leprechaun is within you, the light and the dark. So to hate one half or shun one half is to shun that half of yourself, which makes it easier for that half of yourself to deceive you because you don't understand it.
Wow. Do you ever take form in 3D?
Only when given permission. So sometimes deer, we like to work with deer. The soul that would inhabit a deer might ask us to become one with its energy. And animals, being very adept at portal and shape shifting, might appear as something small, like a wee person, when actually it was a deer. But a deer with our energy, very hard to explain.
Since you're fifth dimensional, do you ever incarnate into humans, animals, plants, crystals?
We do not wish to incarnate, but to work with.
Yeah, it's pretty bad here, isn't
We do not wish to be in the cube.
it? No, no one wants to be in the queue. um, Lisa wants to know. Hold on, let me scroll up just one moment. What entities reside in the blackthorn, or what spirits?
Like we said, there are negative and positive polarities. How you view those polarities is through your own personal filter. So in the blackthorn, there are beings that may appear scary to you, but are actually of a positive polarity. Using your intuition, you must ask yourself why, in the human vessel, you might view something that is positive as actually negative, as sometimes things are inverted. And so, the actual purpose of the blackthorn is to show you the inversions within your cube. No more, no less.
Why are you associated with Ireland?
There are portals on Gaia herself, just as there are portals within your own body. Sometimes you see those portals as chakras, but it's not just chakras. There are various portals within the various energy fields that you have. One of those portals is within the place that you've given in the name of Ireland. And although that is not the place that we just exclusively come through, it is a place that the beings on your planet, humans, have long time ago connected with us. It wasn't just the Celtic peoples. And yes, the Celtic peoples did not just reside in Ireland, but there were many peoples around the world who worked with the quote unquote little people. Leprechaun was just something that was given to us in Ireland. And it was something that the peoples of that region never forgot. However, the other myths and lore of other parts of the regions in which we came through in those portals, some of our myths and lore have been swept under the rug or deemed as nonsense, mystical, not part of the 3D. So you must also ask yourself why those people in that part of the world never forgot those portals. They never forgot what their ancestors saw. They never forgot the stories. Is it because they are trying to find their power and they never forgot?
Wow. Are there any other mythical creatures that you were connected to that we might know in other cultures?
5D creatures?
Well, we see leprechauns as 4D, and we see them as mythical creatures. Obviously, that's not correct. But are there any other creatures that you're associated with?
We would say that any beings that you have a connection with in what you call your nature realm, I suppose would be somewhat on the same frequency as us, which is why we get caught up in these stories of being a
Mm.
nature spirit. There are many nature energies or type energies that you associate with nature that are within the same dimension that we reside in. Not all nature spirits are fifth dimensional, of course. Like you said, many are fourth dimensional, but because sometimes it's hard to discern what is 5D
Mm.
and what is 4D, we all get lumped in as one. Just as all humans don't like to be called just one thing, that we are all unique, yes, but to varying degrees, you are different, but the same. So, yes, we're different, but sort of the same.
I see. So you associate with the fae, with the fairies and things like that, but you're a higher vibration.
Yes.
Okay. John wants to know what's the balance of holding the stories of our past and writing stories for our future?
When you look at the stories of your past, the best thing to do is to figure out how they are true for you. How do you find the truth? By actually asking your heart, your soul. What is the truth in the stories of our past? How do I apply these stories to my present to create a brand new story? That is how you create balance. It is not to hold on to the past, so to speak, as that is an old energy and the present is the present. So instead of creating two separate stories, how do we just see the continuation of that energy through my past? And how can I transmute it if that is my wish?
What advice would you give humans for the ascension process at this time in our time period?
To go within There are so many voices. Yes, we are a voice. Yes, Gaia is a voice. But of all these voices, sometimes it becomes overwhelming. So we ask you to listen to your soul. Not every soul's mission is exactly the same as our mission or Gaia's mission. Yet there is a similarity. When all enact their own mission, it ends up helping the whole, which the whole in this cube is to ascend. So, although your mission may not look like it is part of the ascension process, it is helping all those wishing to ascend.
We're all different puzzle pieces in an elaborate puzzle.
Yes. So, with all the voices and all of the messages out there, even our voice, we would say the best voice to listen to is your own.
Will this be the last experiment with Gaia in the cube, or will there be more to come?
There are timelines where there are future experiments, and there are timelines where the experiments cease to exist. It's whatever timeline you choose.
So there's a timeline where we liberate the cube. We don't do it, but we all do it together, and the cube stops being used in this way.
Yes.
How can we put ourselves on that timeline?
Again, listen to the voice within. Find the inversions. Find the light and the dark. Find your light and your dark. Find what placed me in this cube in the first place. If I have free will, that means I put myself here. Why did I do that? And if I look at the cube as the enemy, then I see myself as the enemy. So you must realize the cube is not your enemy. Your ego is not your enemy. It is your greatest teacher. This does not mean that you need to keep your teacher with you for the rest of your life, but take their teachings and move on.
The cube is us.
Yes.
What was your perspective on our conversation with Bashar last night?
Very good questions. Keep asking questions. No matter the entity, no matter how great or how smart you think entities are, you need to ask the right questions. How do you ask the right questions? By allowing your higher self to do the questioning. So, even like with us, asking the right questions are questions that come from the soul because they are the ones that you need to hear to grow.
Is Bashar's ego nervous that his gig might be up soon?
I feel that all negative polarity might be nervous.
Mm.
This is why many of you feel nervous. Not to say that you're a negative polarity, but to remind you that we have all polarity within us. And this is the ego portion of you that perhaps might be nervous. But just like the ego, this is not truly you, it's only a portion of you.
What advice can you give us in our ego removal practice? We're going into the Akashic records of the cube and finding ways to delete ego. Do you have any advice for us moving forward?
I don't know if we would have any advice that would be any more beneficial than what you're doing. The looking inwards, taking responsibility for your reality, taking responsibility for your past, for your birth, for coming here. And in that responsibility, you then have your own power again. You stand in your power. To take responsibility is not to give your power away. Remember, that is the inversion. That is what the ego would have you believe, that if I take responsibility of something that doesn't make me feel good, that means I am not a good person or I have made bad mistakes. It's quite the opposite. Taking responsibility for your world, for your darkness as well as your light, is to empower you because you shed light on all things. It gives you clarity.
Mm. Are you associated with the color green because you can enter through our heart chakra?
We are the heart chakra.
That is beautiful. If there's no more questions, I guess we can say goodbye. I really appreciate you speaking with us. Do you have any last messages for us?
No matter what you have heard, even from our own voice today, the truest message you could ever hear is the one within you. No more, no less.
That, my friends, was a message of light. There was no ego in there. That was all high vibe.
Wow. Hey, good questions, you guys. I'm gonna have to rewatch that.
Yeah.
Whew,
That was great. They come through deer.
that was.
That's why these deer are always hanging around this hill or behind you. I should have asked if they ever come around here.
Oh, wow. It was so. They have such a. They have such an interesting energy. Like it does feel like nature. Like that's maybe that's why we always associate them with like nature spirits. Um, but yeah, it's the feeling like when you go out in nature, how you just feel at peace. You feel like your whatever stresses you have just seem to kind of go away. You feel loved. You feel abundant. Like that's I don't know how to describe it, but that's their energy. So yeah, I think channeling them was a good idea. So good job, guys.
I can't wait to go to 5D. I'm skipping 4D. I'm going straight to 5.
Yeah, maybe we just go to 5D because
Yeah,
that seems
that's where I'm from.
way more heart based. I mean, it literally said that they're like the heart chakra. So maybe we just go to 5D, guys.
Yeah, they seem to. They were saying that they come from Earth. They're Earth beings in
Hmm.
5D, and then of course Earth was brought here, and they didn't want to come. They didn't want to go in the cube with her.
Well, don't blame them. Trying to ascend out. Not that there's anything with like Earth. I think that it's very beautiful here. There's a lot of beautiful souls. Get to meet you guys and hang out. Um, but I would also want to be free. So if I can hang out with you guys, hang out with Gaia and be free, hey, why not? Whew. Okay, I'm gonna have some tea. Let me just calm down. Oh, thank you. Put this away. All right. So, what did you guys think of that?
Oh, they loved it.
I appreciate being able to connect with that energy.
Oh, yeah, Tom, thanks for the questions.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Yeah, for all of the questions. I mean, those were great questions that my little ego was off to the side and it's like my ego was like, oh yeah, that's a good question. Oh yeah, that's a good question. Like things that maybe I couldn't think of myself. So excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Green tea, very grounding. Green tea. All right. So let me look here. I think I'm going to make sure that I section out that channeling and post that as a separate video on the YouTube channel because, I know not everybody watches these live chats, and I think a lot of people need to see what those little green energies, those 5D energies had to say. I think they had some wonderful messages. I don't remember all of them, which is why I'm going to rewatch it too. But I think that needs to be shared. So
We'll rewatch.
it will rewatch. Oh, okay. So let me go back here. Somebody said, "Blessed be the leprechauns." Mystique says, "Wow, that's amazing." Lisa said, "Profound." Rest said, "The color of our blood and heart are green. Green is the color of love. Our blood and heart only appear red when exposed." Angela says, "They are so familiar to me. I remember that vibe from childhood in the grass." And John said, "Go to 4D every night. Let's go on the bigger adventure." Mystique says, "I'm being reminded of elemental spirits and the white heart." John is thanking James for helping out. Angela says the We Beautiful will be rewatching for sure. Thank you. She says, "Am I crazy to think I remember them somehow?" Of course, not at all. Like, um, remember all of these beings, all of these dimensions which we all reside in. They're all just pieces of ourselves. We're all mirrors of ourselves. So, although yes, they kind of are their own consciousness, we're also part of that consciousness. It's a piece of us. And so, like they said, at least the part that I remember is that they're helping Gaia to remember, and thus we're a part of Gaia, so helping us to remember. So remembering them is wonderful, I think, and connecting with that energy and the messages and seeing how it connects in your own life and how it can aid you in your own mission, in your own journey. So, whew, whew, that was wonderful. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Russ says, I heard elementals communicate around the world through tree roots. Wow. Yeah. And yeah, I love the way trees communicate too, through their like energetic root system, not just their, physical roots. So amazing, you guys. And well, I think I'm coming back to earth now. Um, if there's anybody at this time, excuse me, they would like to do super chats and super stickers, I would be more than happy to sling some cards, especially this beautiful deck here. And then afterwards, we'll go on to that channeled guided meditation, and we'll see what it is that we end up doing for that. What we feel called to. And
maybe they can get individual messages from Leprechaun.
oh yeah, like with the super chats and super stickers. Yeah, if maybe if you just wanted if you were really interested in what that 5D elemental sort of leprechaun green heart-based energy, had, if you want to continue that, maybe we could pull some cards on that. Just a thought. Mystique says love, loyalty, compassion, empathy. That's how to act toward people. And Angela says the fairy statue I'm getting has her hand up in a whispering motion, like she's trying to say something, and she's got green clothes. John says, I'm at a loss. That was a lot. All right, Lisa. Okay. Who's been a member for 22 months. What the heck? Thank you, thank you. Can you channel something loving for Susie? Yes, of course. I will pull a card. I won't look at it yet, but I will channel something for her, and look at the card for like clarification. So it's like a already having faith in the future of what's being said. So here we go. I think that's wonderful. Let's connect to our friend Susie. And I believe that's George I see too. So if Susie rewatches this later, all I see is hand in hand with George. And it's like they're in the middle of a road and they're in silhouette because the sun is in front of them and I would be seeing behind them, but the sun is setting and everything around them is like an orangey yellow. And they're just holding hands walking towards the sunset. Okay. So let's go in with that. So George is showing me kind of like moving Susie's hair, just stroking her hair, kind of moving it behind her ear. Just with an overwhelming amount of love that just in this energy that she's in, just her being her is enough for him. She doesn't need to try to impress. She doesn't have to make something for him to be happy, but just her presence, the energy of love that she is, has always been enough. And it's something that he knows she's working towards for herself, is the ability to see herself the way his soul sees her. Beyond the 3D husband, it's his soul, seeing her soul beyond the vessel. And that's something he knows that she's trying her best to see in herself. And so he's just kind of pushing her in the direction to keep doing what you're doing, the healing that you're doing. I know that things have been difficult from time to time, but the fact that you keep going, you keep trying, you keep overcoming these difficulties, no matter how scary they may seem sometimes, you're showing yourself the strength that I always saw. And I continue to see. And not to feel bad when sometimes you feel low, sometimes you feel powerless, because it's part of the process. Because at some point you pick yourself back up again and you realize what the powerlessness was trying to tell you. You realize what the lowness was trying to tell you. And you fill it with light instead of continuing to feed it. And that's the sign of growth. And that's what he's proud of. But he says it shouldn't matter how proud I am of you. I want you to be proud of yourself. And so I just continue seeing them just walking hand in hand towards that big, big, beautiful sun. All right, let's see what. Oh, this is the card that popped out as I went into the channeling. It's the Strength card. Well, isn't that appropriate? Susie, that is you. And I think you're starting to really see yourself and see the strength and the light in yourself that other people can so easily see in you, that George could see in you, that your son sees in you. Um, and that's, I think George is right. That's the sign of growth, is you're starting to see that. And that sometimes we don't give ourselves enough credit. Sometimes we think, oh, well, I'm not as good as this or this, but that's, to compare yourself to someone else is comparing apples and oranges. You are your own unique light and your own unique person. And the ability to stop comparing yourself to the person next to you is the sign of growth. And I think that that's what you've been doing. And so this is why I feel that your healing has been coming a little bit more easily to you. And it's been having more of an impact. Not to say that it's all, unicorns and rainbows and has always been easy, but I think you're really starting to find your footing and you're really starting to find your inner strength. And so knowing that it's always been there, but it's becoming more apparent to you. So We're always wishing you well, Susie, always sending you so much love, and we appreciate you. We really do. And even the days that you're not here, we still feel you, and we still feel the energy that you have. So mwah, we love you. We love you. Thank you, Elisa, for helping her through that reading, through that channeling. Let's see. Let's go back here. Doo doo. All right, Mystique, we will catch you later. Have a beautiful rest of your day and week. Angela says, I wonder if that same energy would read with me after today. What do we call them for now? Um, I think it's just the intention. Like they didn't seem to, because they're in 5D. They don't care what you call them. I mean, you could still call them leprechauns. You could still call them little people or the wee ones. But it's the intention. Like you know exactly what you're intending to connect to, and that's enough. So. And Angela says, blessings and hugs, Mystique. Be safe today with love, with light. Cake, have a lucky day. It says, can't pull cards, chicken on my hands, so I'll sling a poem. Just like the sun sets and rides each day, just like Gaia spins around the sun, I never went away. There is something after this, it is true, and I'll be going between here and there until it's time to go. Together for now, I'm here with you. Amen. Oh, that's beautiful. And Russ says, by the way, your Arizona forest appears to be a little sparse compared to ours in the Northeast. Well, we got our junipers and pines there. I wouldn't say it's like a super thick forest, but I think it's unique. Angela says, Susie, you are brave, beautiful, bright, and amazing, and we love you. Cheer, cheer. Russ says the Susie reading applies to so many of us. You're doing fantastic, girl. Oh, yeah. And there's James. He's letting people know that our biome is considered a subalpine conifer forest. The juniper looks small, but they have an intense energy and they are 2,000 years old. Yeah, that's some ancientness behind me right there. Angela says, thank you. Nothing is pre-written with me. They just happen in the moment. All righty. All right. So if anybody else would like a card pull or a little channeling, let me know through those super chats and super stickers. If not, I say we do that channel guided meditation. And since, I don't know, I just maybe really feel called to have the being kind of maybe pop back in for that meditation. Or it was a collective of beings, but I think the focus for the meditation would be, I think, focusing on the heart-based meditation. But you know, that's as far as I'll plan it out. I'll let the channeling do the rest. But hey, it looks like we have our buddy John. So John, let me know what question you may have, maybe some general guidance. Maybe you have a question for the 5D energy. I guess we'll just keep calling them the little people, although they are a huge energy. The little green ones. Angela says, like many tiny things, the Reno trees have bug vibes and will kick your shins. Aw. All righty. Good, good. This has been intense in a good way. Intense in a good way. And I love that we've kind of spun our table around so that you guys can see all the action that occurs back there by the creek. Okay, so John said, I don't feel like I need anything, just want to make sure I'm contributing. If you insist on reading for me, I'll take a general. Thank you. Okay, all right. And I thank you so much, John. I thank you so much for your support and everybody here. I'm truly grateful for you guys. I thank you. Okay, so let's pull from our Celtic tarot, but let's tap in to John's energy. All right, John, that's a interesting song. Maybe it's, I don't know, maybe it means something to you. But as I was tapping into your energy, I heard, the one-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater, one-eyed, one-horn flying purple people eater. Sure looks good to me. I haven't heard that song in a while. I always thought that was such a fun song when I was little. Actually, it's still a fun song. Angela says autocorrect is the bane of my words. Oh, I see. Okay. So the one-eyed, one-horned flying purple people eater. Okay, so let's pull a card for John. Message from his higher self. Something to help him out today or guide him today. Something that he can meditate on. Aha. All right. We have the judgment card. John says, I never felt like I fit in. And we have this person, this guy, having the time of his life riding this porpoise flying out of the water. He's got no porpoise. Okay, so let's dive into this. And this is a beautiful image, by the way. Oh, hey, look, you got like an ancient portal back here. Okay, let's go in here. Okay, so your higher self was commenting on what you said before about never feeling like you fit in. And your higher self being the cheeky one that is, it says, well, that's your porpoise. It says, we never want to fit in. That's not the purpose of humanity. The purpose of humanity is not to become a clone of the person next to you. If everybody feels like they're different from the person next to them, great. That is because you are different. Yes, we all are one, but you have a different mission, which means you do things differently. You have a different perspective. You have a different way of healing. And so if you feel like you don't fit in, that's probably the best indicator that you're on the right track. And so as you grow and expand, as you continue to heal and you continue to look inwards and you continue to take in information and run it through your own filter, your higher self saying, I hate to break it to you, but the more different you're going to feel from others. But take that as a positive sign and not a negative sign. It just shows that you're growing and expanding beyond your original programming, your traumas that you brought into this lifetime, and the ones that you incurred while in this particular incarnation. And so, actually embracing the difference, the differentness that is you. And it can be frustrating sometimes because we tend to look to other people or other things or the things that we read or whatever it may be to get a sort of base level of, am I doing things correctly? But that's just the thing. They said that's you can call it faith or trust in your own higher self, that what you're doing is the right thing. If you've been following your heart, if you've been listening to your intuition, if you've been looking into your shadows and your light, if you've been trying to find your own personal power, that is the right track. That is the baseline. Somebody else's baseline, whether it's in a book or it's in a painting or it's in the person standing next to you, they can't give you a baseline other than their own. They can't give you guidance other than how it worked for them. And what is working for them may not necessarily be true for you. Doesn't mean that you need to close your ears off to any and all information. Of course, take it in, but take it in as only maybe a guideline. Maybe, does this make sense to me? And sometimes it doesn't. And so, yes, just like the flying purple people eater, you may feel rather unique, and that's a good thing. All of you should feel unique, a little different. Every billionth person on this planet should feel such. All right. All right. I like your higher self, John. I mean, I like all your higher selves, but you have a really cheeky one. So, all right. Thank you so much, John. A lot of good messages for us too, for the rest of us. And then John completing the song, I wear short shorts. And then Peg, who wears short shorts? I wear short shorts. See, Angela said, reconnect with the little you, the inner child today, John. You've worked enough. It's time to play. Use your best judgment. Don't go too far, but have fun. It's okay to do work can wait a little longer. Have some fun and celebrate you. Amen. And Peg said, darn it, 3D woes. I have to catch the replay. Love you all. All right, Peg, we will catch you later. So I hope you have a beautiful rest of your day. Have a wonderful week. Russ says, John, I can laugh with many groups, but I'm not like them at all. Join the club, brother. And Lisa says, you are unique, John. Bless up, brother. Angela says, bless you, Peg. Go. And peace. See you on the replay, the live chat. Cake blessings to have a great day. John thanking everybody. John says, how do you catch a rare animal? Unique up on it. Well, I would say that we are all the rare animals. Ourselves are all the rare animals. And how do you catch them? Is to realize that you are them. And they never left you. It was nothing to catch, but just something to remember. At least I think. All right. So if there are no other super chats or super stickers, let's go ahead and get ready for our guided meditation. Maybe I will move out of the way a little bit so you guys can just have this view behind me. Maybe I could just lift this up. Aha, there we go. Now I'm out of the way. We'll put it down a little bit so you guys can see the creek. All right. So my intention for this meditation is that it be heart-based, something dealing with our heart chakra maybe. And I'm asking those wee people, those little green beings, those little 5D green beings to come in and maybe help us with that channeled guided meditation. And then I'll just step aside. So all right, so go ahead and get yourself into a comfortable place, someplace that you will not be disturbed for the next several minutes. You could be lying down, sitting on a pillow, sitting in a chair, any way that feels comfortable for your body. You could be outside, inside. It is up to you. And once you've found a position that feels right, I want you to bring your awareness to your breath. Just feeling the air coming into the lungs, feeling it when it escapes your lips. Just taking an observant point of view. Is the breath shallow? Is it heavy? Is it feeling shaky or smooth? Is it quick? Is it slow? When you inhale, where do you feel your breath? How far in do you bring it into your body? How does it feel to exhale that air? And as you witness this, go ahead and take your hand, it doesn't matter which, and place it over your heart. And as we continue this slow, rhythmic breathing in and out, I want you to feel the rhythm of the beatings of your own heart underneath the palm of your hand. Feel its soothing rhythm, comforting, calming, something so gentle and rhythmic, something seemingly so small in comparison to your body, yet being so powerful. It literally moves life force, the blood, throughout this vessel. This organ of such importance. As you continue to feel its beating rhythm, you begin to realize that this heart, this beating heart, is a representation of you, and not just you, but of the collective consciousness. Sometimes we feel small. We may feel insignificant, but it is our beating energy, our vibration, that pushes life force out into the collective consciousness, the planet, the universe, all dimensions. And we realize size had nothing to do with it. The power is power, no matter how small. And as you continue to feel your heart beat, go deeper. Start to feel the vibration just under your fingertips, beyond the vibrations of the heart, your energy. Perhaps it feels tingly. Perhaps it starts to buzz. And be reminded that this is comforting. You are feeling your own beautiful light. This is the light felt by others. This is the light felt by the world, the universe, in all dimensions. And as you continue to feel this electricity, this buzzing vibration. I want you to begin to imagine a color. If your vibration were a color, what color would it be? Allow the first color that comes to mind be the right color. Perhaps it's a mixture of colors. Perhaps it's a color you've never witnessed before. Whatever color it may be, realize that somewhere hidden in the spaces of that color are all beings, because all beings and all energy are you. Just as you are a part of the whole, you begin to see yourself as part of the painter's palette. That the beautiful paintings that we create for our life would be incomplete without your vibration, your color. And this color, this vibration, can be felt here, not just in your physical heart, but your heart space, your essence, the doorway to your soul. Continue breathing. If at any time you feel small, that the work you do is insignificant, come back to this place, to your heart space, and remember the connection that you have to the infinite universe, to Source. The Source would be incomplete without you. And when you feel ready, bring your awareness back into your body. You may want to start taking a deep breath and begin to wiggle your fingers and toes. And when you're ready, go ahead and open your eyes. All right, you guys. Oh, that was a nice grounding, calming meditation. So thank you to the energies that came forward to help us with that one. And thank you to everybody who joined us in the chat today. And thank you for the wonderful questions, helping us out with that channeling of the little people, of those beautiful green 5-dimensional beings, the beings that are part of Gaia's family, or they are technically her and we are them. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And for everybody who got readings and participated and brought down messages and shared your light with everyone, thank you so much. Let's go back here. John said, I was surprised. Angela said, so beautiful. Wow, I'm always in seeing these meditations. They leave me speechless. I'm glad you guys find them very helpful. I will try to maybe separate the meditation too into a separate video for other people that maybe, again, don't get to catch the live chats or the replays. So thank you all for being here. I love you guys so much. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Have a wonderful week. John said thanks to all our 5D friends, to you and James, to everyone who sent me love. All right. And Lisa, next time, peeps, one love. Angela, blessings, everyone. Go in peace today. Be blessed, be safe, eat cake. Love you all so much. Have a lucky day. Amen. Yes. Have a beautiful St. Patty's Day. And James says, my pleasure. Thank you all for being here. All right. Catch you guys next time. Peace, love, and chicken grease. Peace out. Bye, guys.